Hey everybody, this is Alice, and you're listening to the Game Birds podcast. Bree is not here with me for this current second because I botched the intro of our original recording, and I am simply doing a small re-record before we get into it. And if you don't know, Bree and I are best friends, and we've been playing video games together for our entire lives for longer than we can possibly remember. So in this episode, we are playing Cat Cafe Manager. This was released in 2020. It was developed by Roost Games, which is a Dutch game development cooperative. It's a simulation game. It's single player. You can play it on your PC or Switch. Current price point is about $20, and hopefully you enjoy the episode. We are playing a little bit of a classic for us. We've actually played it previously, I think back when it came out too in 2020, when we were all locked in the house, so we might as well play all the games.
I'm pretty sure you just randomly gifted this to me on Steam one day, so I was like, oh cool, a Cat Cafe Manager, definitely up my alley. But yeah, basically, with this game, your grandpa passed away, and they were running a cat cafe in this town, so you go to the town to kind of revitalize it, and shockingly, there's not much of a building left, but there are many cats around and some neighbors to tell you how great your grandparent was, and very excited about you restoring the cafe. All you do is attract different customers to your cafe. You build it up, you add different decoration, you get a variety of different resources to do so, which we'll get into in a moment, but that's the basic premise.
I would say this game is very similar to a Diner Dash, but with a lot more substance. I was a huge original Diner Dash fan from the first two Diner Dash games, and this for me was like everything I would want Diner Dash to be, especially with all the decorations and of course the cats.
Yes, the cats are such a welcome addition. I very rarely have games on my phone, but Diner Dash was one I had on my phone pretty regularly, and very similar to that. It's not super complicated mechanics. Customers come in, you serve those customers, you clean up any messes, and that's exactly how this is. Very similar, where you can hop in, maybe play for 20 minutes at a time, and then put it down for a little bit. It's very plug and play, which is very fun.
I guess if folks have played Plate Up, and I know Overcooked has similarly been popular in the last couple of years, where you're playing a multiplayer experience of like building out a restaurant and taking orders and cooking the stuff. This is obviously single player, but a similar sort of theme to that. Like you're running a restaurant, right? It just happens to be a cafe and happens to have cats. And a lot more customization and making your cafe look really cool or witchy or whatever you're going for. There's a few different themes of furniture as well.
But yeah, still a lot more resources to manage, which honestly I think is the most interesting thing about this game. So yeah, there's a variety of different resources. So it's not just money that you get that you spend at the store. There are a variety of different stores, and each store takes different resources, sometimes a different combination of resources. So for example, gems are spent on nice decorations at the furniture shop. Gold is the highest quality furniture. Nectar you get from witches, and you can use that for different recipes and ingredients at the market. There's quite a few different things, so depending on the type of customers that you attract, you get more of those resources, depending on where you want to spend those resources.
Yep, and you'll get more resources basically if your customers had a really good time at your cafe. And so for them to have a good time at your cafe, they will want different types of food or drink or like different types of cats. And there's all these little sort of just like management elements to this game. Not in some sort of extremely difficult way, really, but just enough of a challenge that it's still engaging, I think.
It still has like that base gameplay of Diner Dash. Again, going to a customer, taking their order, making their food, bringing the food to them. But the resources add a different level to it because you can really decide on what you want to focus on. In the current game I was playing, I really wanted to just build up my building. I'm like, I just need space. And the way you get that is the materials, which you get from punks. You can go into build mode and you could build different types of floor, different type of wallpaper, things like that. So that was more my focus. I was trying to bring more punks in.
It is nice that way if you are running low on a certain resource, you're trying to get something specific, you can set up your advertisements for that day and say, hey, I just want punks today, or I just want a combination of certain types of folks, which is maybe a little bit discriminatory now that I'm saying it out loud. But helpful in the game, certainly.
Yeah, absolutely. We haven't mentioned yet, but there is a very mystical element to this with the cat shrine. So there is a mystical cat creature that visits you and basically takes you to the shrine. And the shrine, you're trying to build the satisfaction overall for the day. And once you get to a certain amount, you unlock certain things. It could be anything from extra staff. It could be additional lures for the cats to bring more cats to the cafe. It could be different recipes. There are a lot of different upgrades that you can get from the cat shrine. And that kind of is something you could do passively as you're playing a regular day of the game. You could really decide what's most important to you and how you want to progress the game that way.
Another element to this is a little bit of automation. So when you first start out, it's just you running the whole cafe. You have to take all the orders. You got to chat with all the customers. You got to make all the food. But as you go, you can hire staff to do certain things. And I think what's really interesting is this concept of like the traits. Some staff are going to be cooks, others are going to be more so servers, and same with the cats. Like some cats are going to be different certain personalities or get along with certain types of customers based on the traits you give them and how you upgrade them over time. So you get this combination not only of automation, but like automation plus how you've sort of tailored those elements.
There is a leveling system with that. So you can level up your staff, you can level up the cats, and that can up certain stats, making them better at conversation with customers, making them better cooks, things like that. Once you level up, you also get additional traits that can be anything from is really good at cleaning, works way better after 6 p.m., works better when you have this type of furniture in the facility. So same thing with the cats. A lot of them come kind of preset with maybe they like just artists and just punks, but as you level them up, they can be more appealing to different types of people. And that all kind of comes with the leveling up and how you decide you want to cater to your customers in that cafe.
And if this isn't enough mechanics for you, don't worry. You still have to take care of your cats and make sure they have toys and litter boxes and things like that. So there's a lot to this game. Nothing that's too overwhelming, in my opinion, but just keeps it really interesting the entire time and keeps your attention. And really, we haven't even talked about, okay, well, there's also characters. Like there's a punk character and a witch character and all these different types of folks. Like they each kind of have a representation in the game of somebody special who comes to your restaurant every once in a while and you can become friends with them and they have their own story and, you know, you have discussions with them. So it just feels like there was a lot of different thought and elements put in this game. We're talking about a game that was built with 3 people on a teeny tiny budget. It's honestly pretty impressive what they did with such a small group.
Yeah, absolutely. The people that you meet that you can regularly invite, they're called regulars. They basically represent each group that you can have at your cafe, whether it's the punks, the businessmen, the fishermen. There is a representative from each of those groups that you can become friends with. There is a phone booth outside of your cafe. You can call one person per day. And when you increase your relationship with those people, it also increases the stats for those type of customers that come to the cafe. It also ups the demands of that group. So if they are more likely to come, they are more demanding in terms of what they expect to be on your menu each time they come in. I will say just a kind of slight funny thing, especially when you're first starting the game, literally all you can serve is water. And it's kind of funny just how you substitute things because somebody will be like, hey, can I have a pretzel? And you're like, no, how about water? Because that's all I have. And that'll happen as you progress because again, as these stats get updated for different groups, they'll be like, oh, hey, can I have a latte? And you're like, how about a pretzel? Because that's what I have. They just have to grin and bear it, I guess.
You start a cafe, but all you have is water. Like, look, I have a cat. I have one cat and I have water from the sink. Okay. Just bear with me here.
Yes. We're building up the menu here. Like one day I'll afford a coffee machine.
So the reason I brought this one to the table was because there's actually a Kickstarter that just launched for the second game, Cat Cafe Manager 2, Big City Bliss. I'm honestly really excited about it. It has an updated like 2.5D art style. This first one is a top-down 2D, and this new one has definitely a way fancier looking art style. It looks like it has way more mechanics, new things to do and explore with the actual town. I'm looking at the Kickstarter, just launched early September. They're about $10,000 away from their goal. 27 days left as of recording, probably be obviously a little bit less than that when this goes up. But on Kickstarter, Cat Cafe Manager 2, tons of really great details about what the new game will have. And certainly they've already been working on it. So just really excited to potentially get this to market and play the next version. And I don't know, I just want it to happen. I just can't wait.
Yeah, I'm really excited, especially I mention this all the time, but I love games like this where you can just hop in and just I don't have to think too hard about it, but there's still goals that I can progress towards. And who wouldn't want to run a cat cafe? That's absolutely my dream job. So the fact that I can do this and there's going to be even more updated version coming out soon, I am so thrilled about that. Actually, Alice, I wanted to ask you because it won't update the dollar amount for me. How much is the basic pledge with just getting the game?
So just for the game and nothing else, it's 20 euros, which is about $23. I actually pledged one above that, which is closer to $28 because you get an exclusive in-game cat. And I mean, might as well. And there's a couple more tiers as well on top of that with different perks. Looks like they have stickers and posters and all sorts of fun things as well. The Kickstarter actually really well put together just in terms of like information. I love here. They actually say that the original Cat Cafe Manager was inspired by Studio Ghibli's look for their like reference design. And for this new one, they're going more for like a Sailor Moon 90s anime situation. So just like really fun too to like read about the different inspiration and what they're trying to do.
I love this because they even have like right at the beginning of the Kickstarter like a small little animation of a character interacting with a cat. And I love the updated style. I think it is so cute and it suits this game so well. I think the aesthetic of the original game is very cute. The animations of the cats and the sound design is very, very good. So I would love to throw money at these people because I would love to get even more of this. I just think it's a darling game overall. I think it's very sweet. It's very easy to get into. I don't know if I mentioned this previously, but I did time it because I love doing this. But an average day in the cafe is 5 minutes, just about 5 minutes. So quite literally, you can hop in, play this for 5, 10, an hour, as much as you want to spend. And it's very non-committal, but you can always work towards different goals, change those goals as need be. And that is just absolutely my kind of game. And the cats are just so cute. Honestly, my biggest issue with the game is that like you can only have so many cats in the cafe, and I always just want all of them. There is the option to adopt those cats out, but like I want to keep all of them all the time. It's a struggle.
Oh my God, I can't adopt the cats out. I don't feel like I ever did that.
I did it like in my original game, but I felt really bad about it. So I'm like, no, I like having the cat here. Like I want him to do his own thing, and the clientele love them. So I love them too. I feel bad giving them up.
Man, they looks like they've expanded their team as well. So the original game they noted was 3 developers on total. And I'm assuming like that doesn't necessarily mean everybody was programming, but 3 people developing it. Looks like that is up to like 10 people. So that's really cool too, to see just like this game and the team grow and potentially launch again. Like this next version of the game looks even more detailed than the first one with new shops and things and new ways to, I think I saw a dog somewhere when I was scrolling in here. So that might be interesting. I'm just really excited for it. I thought this first game was just so much fun. I did encounter a couple glitches while I was playing originally back in 2020, which is like moving the furniture around and like having some weird bugs there, but I think they all got fixed pretty quickly, and it's something that's just like, you know what, I'll take a small visual bug for an awesome game.
No question. And honestly, I feel like if I'm not mistaken, they've patched this game many, many times. In fact, I believe the last one was really not that long ago, maybe a couple months ago. So they've been actively working on the original Cat Cafe Manager to make it as optimum as possible. I think it's darling. I feel like for most of the games we played, this is one of the highest price points at $20. I will say the amount of gameplay you can get from this is quite a lot, because Alice, you said you have quite a few hours in this, yes?
Yeah, I have 100% achievements, but I have over 17 hours in the game.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, that's a decent chunk of time. And I only have 9 hours, but this is a game that I could very easily pick up again. So, granted, it was gifted to me, but I feel like, one, you could always get it on sale, but there's a lot of content in here and there's a lot of different ways to play the game. And we mentioned a little bit, but when you start to become friends with the regulars, you do get a lot of the information about them and the lore and about the town and how those characters are connected to each other. There's a very sweet story in there if you take the time to seek that out. But at the same time, if you don't want that, you can just be a fun, cute game where you just zone out and just run a cat cafe for a couple days and don't interact with that story at all. I think there's a lot of ways to go about it. It's definitely worth the $20 to me. If you are able to, we would love if you could throw $20-ish at their Kickstarter, whatever you're able to do.
Or truthfully, if you can't throw any money at a game or a Kickstarter, like even just adding it to your Steam wish list helps us unlock another hat. There's some goals here where if they have things like Twitter followers and Discord members and Steam wish lists, that helps us unlock different hats. We've already unlocked the cowboy hat and the ladybug hat, but look, okay, we're trying to get that pirate hat. We need that pirate hat.
Yes, I'm so glad you brought that up because, yeah, the level of customization in the original game is pretty minimal, but just looking at some of the screenshots here, it seems like you could do a lot of different things with your character, and I am very excited for that. We love customization in a game, and I love that there's ways to interact and support them, even if you don't have necessarily the funds to throw at them. But if you are able to, we would love that because it seems like a great studio. I love that they're growing, and I'm excited that they are making something new, and they're so close to their goal.
I am truthfully kind of tempted to upgrade my tier to getting beta now, because looking at this, it looks like alpha will be next year, 2025, beta 2026, and then releasing in 2027. I don't know if I can wait that long.
Oh no.
Game development is very time consuming, very intensive, so I understand why it's going to take that long, but I'm still sad.
That's fair, especially with such a small team. I mean, I'm so impressed that the original game was made with just 3 people, you said? That is insane. The amount of detail and the amount of like different paths you can take. The visuals are pretty simplistic, but like, I don't know. I think that's very adorable. I especially like petting the cats and then they roll on their back and show you their little tummy and just bat their little hands around. They're so cute. So
oh yeah.
You don't need all that detail.
It's simple, but it's stylized. Like there's a definite art style to it. It's cohesive and it's not pixel art. So I don't know, like it still manages to feel unique enough, even if it's not like too overly detailed in any way.
If you do take the time to talk to the characters, a lot of them say very hilarious things. A lot of them are very sarcastic and very sweet or heartfelt, things like that. I want to find a quote that I saved earlier this week because I thought it was really funny. One of the people I was talking to the most was Arwell, which is like the man who represents the punks. And the first time I talked to him, he said, "You're not the worst. You can tumble words at me anytime if you like." And I'm like, oh, that's nice.
Aww, that's sweet.
Very sweet. So very darling. I love honestly, the character designs are very, very excellent for all of the representatives for each group. Yeah, it's just a darling game. And I hope you get to play it. And I hope everyone can support this Kickstarter in one way or another.
Woohoo. Let me remind myself. Oh, I do think I know what we're playing next. We're going to be playing, well, Chicken Journey is supposed to come out next. We promised Chicken Journey in the last one, and we decided to bump this one up since the Kickstarter dropped. So Chicken Journey will be next. But then, Brie, what are we going to play after that?
I was very excited about Chicken Journey, but you'll hear about that shortly. After that, we're doing something a little bit different for the next one. I have been very interested in lo-fi productivity utility games. I will say because those games are a little bit shorter and more idle, they're very passive games. We are choosing 3 different games at 3 different price points to review. And this is very exciting for me because this is something that I'm very accustomed to. I've been playing these types of games for a while, but Alice has never been exposed to them. So We are going to review a couple different lo-fi productivity games, and I'm excited to hear what you think.
So coming at you next is some chicken and some lo-fi. Thanks so much.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.